half Kane, half Faust, all the blood of the pharaohs. You're listening to Ranking Rick Riordan, a podcast about Percy Jackson, Kane Chronicles, and the whole wide rest of the Riordanverse. I'm Dan.
I'm Olga.
And I'm Clara. And today we're discussing the Kane Chronicles Book 3, The Serpent's Shadow.
This episode is brought to you by Neat's Survival Guide, 47 essential facts about finding... why can't I do this one?
You wrote it.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
Was it though?
No, it was last week.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you might not remember.
It's like we hadn't finished it 2 weeks ago. As a matter of fact, you finished it way after I did.
This episode is brought to you by Neat's Survival Guide, 47 essential facts about building a bunker, spotting conspiracies, and the hunting of jelly babies. Call 1-800-ZOMBIES to place your order for this life-saving scroll. Act now and we'll throw in a free macrame, say that again. We'll send in a
Act now.
Act now and we'll throw in a free macrame death trap. Now let's get into the show.
Who could resist an offer like that?
I'm very tongue-tied today, apparently.
Well, it's a good thing that we're not doing a podcast or anything.
Also, try saying Serpent's Shadow, even
Serpent Shadow.
2 times in a row.
Yeah, that is kind of hard. Yeah, Serpent's Shadow.
Kane Chronicles Serpent Shadow.
All right, so housekeeping.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so just setting up what the future holds for us. Next podcast, we'll be doing demigods and magicians. And that's when we'll also be ranking the Percy Jackson stuff against the Kane Chronicles stuff. It's not the book. We're going to do that today. Mm-hmm. But as far as like combining the lists of heroes and then combining the list of gods and all that stuff.
I'm so excited to read these stories, but I'm dreading comparing these.
Yeah.
Series to each other.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem fair.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
We got some new ratings and reviews, so thank you to Hanging Pomegranates and someone whose username is just hug, thumbs down, and pray emojis for their reviews. So
it's
we
a
love
quality username. I don't quite understand it, but
yeah, I have to say when I saw the thumbs down in the header, I was a little nervous, but then I saw the 5 stars and was like, never mind.
It was a very nice review. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Clara, do you agree that that's the huggy emoji, the little face with the 2 hands?
It's like I think of it more as a I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it's more like jazz hands.
That's what Olga thought too, but I feel like I read that it was a hug somewhere. I don't know.
I'm old and out of touch.
If it's not a hug, though, I guess the only other hug emoji is the creepy, shadow person, looming emoji. You know what Olga looks not familiar with this.
I need to check something real quick.
Creepy shadow person. All right. So thank you to those people for their reviews. If you would like to send us a review, that would be really nice. Also, please send us feedback at ourpodcastfeedback@gmail.com. Comment on the YouTube version of this podcast or tweet us at Ranking Riordan. You know, I think we had a comment that I planned on talking about, but I forgot to put it in here. So we'll talk about it on the next podcast because we'll still be talking about Kane Chronicles. Anyway, Clara, what did you think of Serpent Shadow?
I liked it. It went really fast for me. Mm-hmm. Is it just so I read on the Kindle.
Yeah.
So I really have no way of gauging how long these books are relative to each other, but it went by so much faster.
Mm-hmm. I think it's about the same length as the others.
Okay.
They're all around the same.
I don't know. Maybe I was just really on it.
Yeah.
But I liked it. Lots of action, packed in a lot without feeling totally overwhelming. Mm-hmm. I'm just so... You already know what I'm going to talk about, which is the Walt and Anubis thing, which is just so...
My favorite thing.
I don't believe you, Dan.
Okay, so we have to immediately talk about this. So I was so excited for you guys to have this, because basically when I first read this, which was a while ago, I got to the dance scene and they were hinting about blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
Same.
He wouldn't know. And I was like, no, he's going to do it, isn't he? As the book went on, I got, no, he's definitely going to do it.
Yeah.
And he ended a love triangle by turning the two people into one person.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Hilarious is one
Whether
word
it's a
for
good
it.
thing or a bad thing, personally, I have no idea. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm just baffled.
Yeah.
Like more than anything else.
I just think it's hilarious.
I just like, I'm at a loss in a lot of ways. It feels too convenient, is my opinion.
I think it's amazing.
And like, convenient is not really a word I use to describe how Rick writes. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
it happens occasionally, like, well, that was convenient, but it's not like, not in these moments where it's something that's been built up to in this same way, I guess. I mean,
you
guess
didn't.
Leo.
It's not like you saw it coming in the last book.
Because why would I expect the most like fanfic? It's a love triangle. Oh, I know the solution. Both of the boys become one boy.
It breaks convention.
It does.
It doesn't. In the same
Yes,
way,
it does.
Okay,
when was the
fair
last
enough.
time you saw this happen in a book? Or
Yeah,
a
this
movie?
didn't happen with Edward and Jacob, did it?
You're right.
They
You're
could've.
right.
They didn't.
that
They
well.
didn't.
what?
Yeah, exactly. They could have. They didn't.
Yep.
If Stephanie Meyer didn't do it, that means it's brand new territory.
Here's my. Can I ask a question? This
Yes.
is just like a philosophical question.
Yeah.
So Anubis,
Yeah.
he's quote 16,
Yeah.
unquote. So now that he's in the body of someone who's going to age,
Mhm.
is he going to grow up, or is he still going to always be 16 because he's a god?
He's gonna grow up.
Well, like, I know
Now he's not in the duat.
Mm-hmm.
His mind will grow up too,
But how did his mind get to 16 in the first place in the duet?
because it goes very slowly.
Okay. But so then he's going to be stuck forever as an old man in the duet?
I think so. I mean, isn't that technically what like Osiris is?
Mm.
I guess.
The-
Yeah, see, this is I'm just interested
Osiris
in this.
isn't an old man.
yeah, but he's a man. He's not a
Yeah.
16-year-old.
I mean, arguably, it's more of the like raw situation. He would be like a buff old man.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, don't think about it too hard.
There we
okay?
go. That's the solution.
No, I'm
Let's
really
not-
interested in this
Yeah.
because what are the implications of him choosing this, right? Like, what
Yeah.
is he giving up?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
in general, I mean,
Nothing.
whether we like Anubis or not, or whatever we think about their romantic stuff aside, I do feel like in general the character of Anubis got the shaft. Like, yes, he technically had an arc here where they set up in the first book that he never really lived a life and he was stuck in this thing, and now it ends with him making this choice and beginning to live his life as like for real. That technically is an arc. I'll give them that. But like, we spent not enough time with him to really know him as an individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was mostly there to give us exposition most of
Mhm.
the time, and then just like flirt with Sadie.
I agree.
And I never like hated his scene. Like, he was never like, I was never reading his stuff being like, I hate you, Anubis, you're terrible. But like, I was never like
I think
excited about him.
Clara's giggles indicate that she felt otherwise.
I was just creeped out. But like, that's not, I can get over, I don't know.
Olga, what
yeah.
were your opinions on
My
this book?
opinions were about the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get back to
All
it.
right. Anubis.
The book, who cares?
So while I was reading it / immediately after, I was like, "This is great. This is so much more." It is both a repeat in a lot of ways. Somehow, emotionally,
I disagree with you
of-
about that personally, but
Sure. I just felt like it kind of hit similar-ish story points to Throne of Fire. I'm not saying I'm right about that, but while I was reading it, I kind of felt like, oh, this is like a more mature or like a more, they've learned lessons, like version of Throne of Fire. Like, it made sense to me as a progression, but somehow I still felt like we were hitting.
Well, all of his books have a formula, and the formula, we're just so used to it with Percy that we don't go, every book has a quest. He starts at the camp and then he goes over here.
We did notice that. That was one of the complaints about.
Yeah, but like we stopped talking about it eventually because we just get used to it. Whereas this one, it's a similar but different repeat where we have to get this scroll and then the second part of this scroll and then the third part of this scroll.
Mhm.
Or have to pick up this thing over here.
And we're splitting up and you're going over here with so-and-so and we'll bring it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, but getting back to it, my point is I was really enjoying it and I like walked away from it being like, yeah. And then I thought about it / we talked about it and I was like, oh no, actually this book is too convenient. Like not enough stuff goes wrong, arguably. Like it starts off with enough stuff going wrong, but then by the end, they just like, as you put it, Dan, they have a plan. Their plan happens. Like it just works out with a few like.
It's true.
And I mean, that's fine, but.
Well, so let me talk about that real quick.
Yeah, please.
So when I first read this book, I got to like the 70% mark. And then I stopped because I was like, I don't want to finish the book. I like Kane Chronicles. I don't want it to end. I'll get back to it when we get there in the podcast, because we had like just started the podcast when I was reading that one. And then I got the graphic novels for a project I'm working on. And I just said, whatever, I'm just going to finish it in the graphic novel because I was reading through the whole graphic novel anyway. So I finished it in the graphic novel, which is a weird way to do things. I don't recommend.
Really? You don't say.
In the graphic novel, I read it and I was like, is it really going to be like this in the book? Because it really is. We have a plan. We do the plan works, done. And I do think that in the book, it's better than that. Like at least it you feel the length of how much they have to get through all the versions of Apophis. You feel that like the battle takes longer. The battle at the actual Gnome, I feel like, feels more significant. But I definitely, I still think that's a valid argument. I don't think it's as powerful as when I was, it was like a page and a half for each of these things.
Yeah,
I will say I totally do recommend that graphic novel, though. The visuals for that stuff is fantastic.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, again, there were still things that like went wrong.
Yeah.
The stuff with Zia and all of that as well.
Sun got swallowed.
Yeah, like that was like, oh no, what next? Yeah. Like there were oh no moments. Like how are they going to get out of this? But overall, I don't know. Yeah, I still think it was very fast. And
yeah.
How do you think this compares? Because I've been thinking about it a lot. How do you think this compares to? My God, I'm blanking on the name of it.
Blood of Olympus.
So here's the thing. I think that it's better than Blood of Olympus.
Me too.
But not as good as Last Olympian.
Agreed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think that this ending is like bad. I just don't think it's like, hell yeah. Like I don't end this being like, you nailed the landing. But I also don't go, hey, you spent 10 books and left me wanting. So just by virtue of being only a trilogy, I think that helps quite a bit. But also I think the battles and things were better written, and that I feel like the characters did sort of have their due.
In this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in Blood of Olympus, it felt like, suddenly Percy wasn't there and Frank did nothing. And like,
that was that to me is just the general problem of the whole book of all of Blood of Olympus, like not having everyone's POV and whatnot.
Basically, Blood of Olympus is like if this book suddenly also gave you Anubis and Bess's point of view, and it's like, oh, Carter's just over there. It's like,
that's a bit much, but
I mean that's pretty close though. It was like I understand that I like Reina and Nico too. They shouldn't have been the focus of that book. They should have had their own.
They should have been the focus of all of the books up to that point.
Well, and that's my point, is actually comparing Anubis to any character in any of the Percy Jackson books who got a perspective is not fair.
Boston, someone else.
Sure.
And Bloodstained Blade.
I would be down.
That would be an interesting short story. I don't know. It was wrapping it up with like, and all the love triangle, or not love triangles, but like all the love stuff, romance, it works out. And I'm like, it also works out in the Percy Jackson books.
Yeah. I think it's, okay, when it comes to romance, I would argue it's worse in Last Olympian.
Me too. Yeah. I was actually gonna, I honestly think the Walton Anubis thing, for as much as it's throwing me, it's just so different.
Yeah.
And like Sadie's discomfort with it really Sadie, as usual, saves almost every situation she's in.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's like trying to figure out how comfortable she is with all of it is like, meaningful in a way that just like going to Calypso and being like, Leo being like, honey, I'm home is not.
So no,
I disagree.
I was talking about Last
Oh,
Olympian.
Last Olympian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was talking about Last Olympian, and I'm not, before everybody takes out their pitchforks, I'm not like, oh, I hated the underwater kiss and all that stuff. Like, I like that Percy and Annabeth got together. But if you want to talk about convenience, suddenly being like, oh, Rachel never actually had feelings for him.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
And Annabeth never actually had feelings for Luke. She saw him as like a brother.
You're right.
That is way worse.
You're
than
right.
Yeah. That is retconning.
Yeah.
As opposed to like
an interesting merging of two people into one.
Now, wait. So as you were talking about this, I got an interesting idea.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Is this a commentary on polyamory?
Huh.
She struggles with the idea of being with two guys at once, and then comes to the conclusion that she can handle it.
Interesting. You know?
I don't think it's on purpose, but
I don't know.
yeah.
Or is it a commentary on machismo? I don't know.
I don't know how that would be.
I don't know either. I just decided to say that. I guess, I mean, like, it's both of them being, this is why to me it's just like so convenient and like so fantastical. It's like just these two guys who are, first of all, they've just had their own conversations and whatever going on in the background. Yeah. But also they're both like, I love Sadie. No, I love Sadie. Oh, jealousy ? And then they're like, no, we both love her so much. Never mind, we do everything for her.
I know why I like this. I know why I like it.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to it.
Yeah, you are.
It's because what it is this feels like a teen/preteen girls fanfic.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And what I love is that it's being given to the preteen, like just as sort of like, oh, you know what, Sadie? Sure, have this.
Yeah.
Every 13-year-old girl's dream.
But on top of that, like the thing that makes it not is that it makes total sense in the universe they created.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes total like it's like
Yeah.
there's a reason we were able to see it coming because they set up this is how you host things. Now I want to tell you at the end of the last book, you have all the information you need to know what's going to happen with Walt and it's going to happen with Zia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Menshikov says at the end of the second book, you can cure any disease by hosting a god.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, like, like everything does build up. Like, you know, he gives Zia the scarab at the end. Like, you know, so it all makes sense.
Yeah. No, and for the record, I'm not actually at all arguing that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
that is not one of the arguments that I'm making. And I actually don't remember if I just thought it or said out loud earlier that yes, this feels like a fanfic.
You said it out loud.
Yeah,
okay, because that was the thing where you're like, where have you seen this before? I'm like, I'm sure I read this in some sort of Harry Potter fanfic when I was 14, where like Harry and Ron somehow merge with her and date Hermione. Like, I don't know. I mean, it just feels.
But the more you talk, the more I'm like, good for Rick.
I'm not against. Sadie was appropriately freaked out, and that's why it's okay. Like, genuinely.
And the other thing
agree with Clara there.
The other thing is, I mean, you mentioned the jealousy. Like, they never actually were jealous. Sadie thought that might be happening because they like mentioned each other, but they were never jealous of each other.
You're right.
I do agree. There's definitely wish fulfillment aspects, especially the thing of like how much they both seem to like focus so much on her. There's like a little bit of the like
Mary Sue,
but not like the way people usually use it, like the actual way where Mary Sue was supposed to be used.
Yeah.
As far as like everyone loves her and thinks they're the greatest person ever.
Unfortunately, Carter does not think that about his sister.
But I mean, I think here's the thing. What I think helps it work, even despite that wish fulfillment thing, is that they're doing it mostly for each other. Yes, it's a great thing for them that they get to both be with Sadie, but like Walt doesn't want to die. Anubis has been set up from the very beginning to want to experience life. So like it makes sense.
It does.
It's just freaking weird.
Well, I mean, Walt is such a great character, and something that I remember more from the second book is Walt basically commenting on like, I'd rather live a real life while I can. I've come to terms with this, but he's not like we've tried to find something, but it's about him wanting to just live and not make compromises. So this way he gets that because he's not compromising his life.
Yeah, they kind of found a way, like, I would say they, because I'm so used to television where there's multiple writers. Rick found a way to kind of have his cake and eat it too, where I feel like he both told the story of Walt living his life to the fullest while he had it, like, because even he doesn't know if it's gonna work, like, so he really does like choose to end it with doing that spell, and he's like, hopefully this works, and then he also got to keep going, and so I think he found a good balance there. The one thing is kind of a bummer that, like, I don't really know how you would do it better, is that, like, it kind of hurts the, like, allegory aspect of it, that, like, then he gets magically fixed. Like, I can see certain people be like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, this person has a disability, what great representation. Oh, now they magically don't have this disability. But I still feel like it told the story, and so at the end of the day, it's a kid's series, and I don't think you could have gone away with killing Walt.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the thing. Considering the specific disease that they are trying to make that, or not trying, and again, I said they too. Yeah. Considering that the biggest comparison of what Walt is going through is to sickle cell disease, and this is a disease that is like, it causes disability, but nonetheless, it is something that people are actively trying to find a cure for.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as like the same thing as just like someone someone is a disabled person and then it goes away. It's like,
I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you feel like you saw yourself in his story and then he got something you can't, does that feel like I don't know, does that feel good or not? I guess I can't
answer that. I mean, I would say arguably it could cause like jealousy in that sense.
But also, would people want to see him die? Would it have been really hard? Like, what is it like? Oh, I want to see the reality, or is it like, oh, that was really hard? I actually, I don't have the answer to this.
I think it depends on like the master of the story.
Yeah,
what master is it serving? And this one is a magical, fantastical version of reality.
Yeah, I think overall
for young adults, very
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I never like actually said what I thought of the book.
No, you didn't.
So I like this book. I don't think it's perfect. I think it has a number of great elements. So there's a few things that I don't love. I really like Setna or Setni or whatever his name is. I like him a lot. At the same time, he's like the closest thing to the Nico Arena taking control thing for me. 11th hour, let's introduce this person who is going to continue on past this point, and they're kind of going to eclipse Apophis. Like, Apophis shows up at the beginning and is really awesome, and then he's just kind of gone for a really long time.
Yeah. And
Setna's awesome, and I like watching that stuff, and that's cool, but like, I do think he totally stole Apophis's thunder. And he kind of steals Set's thunder too, which I don't love, because he's very similar to Set.
Yeah.
His name has Set in it.
And I also do feel like it's weird because I think that power-wise, Carter gets the shaft in this book quite a bit.
As usual.
He gets seriously beaten up. He's not a very capable fighter. Like, I know he has moments where he succeeds, but he mostly doesn't. And they even have silly, ridiculous things like he breaks the thing on top of Bess and hurts his own hand. I'm like, come on. In the final battle, you're going to have him break his hand by karate chopping a rock? I just, that felt like so there were a lot of little things like that bothered me. But overall, I don't feel like he got the shaft in that. I think he had the real arc of this book, whereas Sadie, as much as I love Sadie, I don't think Sadie has an arc in this book aside from romance, which is fine, whatever. She got great arcs before, but like, if I'm looking at just this book, I don't think that Sadie is handled as well as in the previous books.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
I felt like this was, and it's an interesting point. This is both more Carter's book and even less Carter's book. Which, I mean, I think that those moments of weakness help to make sense of his worries about leadership and responsibility. Yeah. And if he was just acing everything, he might not have that same level of worry.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, let the kid have some success.
Well, it just felt like in the first two books, his capabilities or competency was held back by pushing Sadie's competency. And in this book, his competency is held back by pushing Zia's competency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for the women being competent.
Yeah.
But he's still one of the main characters, and he shouldn't be being saved every 5 seconds. I just feel like, how many times was he, would he have died in this book if it wasn't for Zia or Sadie?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like 4.
Yeah. I just like, okay, so he gets the crook and flail.
Mm-hmm.
He, like, it's fulfilled that he becomes the pharaoh, as is, like, was foreshadowed. And that makes, yes, he definitely has an arc.
Mm-hmm.
He also has arguably, like, an anti-romance thing where he's like, oh, I love Zia, but yes, I'll accept what she's doing with Raw, like the fact that she hosts Raw and all of that. Like, he comes to terms with that and everything. He still,
also
gets his unpossessed girlfriend back, but nonetheless,
I want to quickly say about that could have gone terribly wrong.
Agreed.
And I actually think that he handled it pretty well.
I feel like I was holding my breath that entire time. And I'm sure, like, for some people it was still uncomfortable, but that could have been so much worse.
They could have had Carter come off either, like, very transphobic, or I don't even know what.
Mostly that. That was my main concern, is it would be, like, incredibly transphobic.
I think overall they handled it well.
The good thing here is Rick was not trying to make an allegory here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by not trying to make any allegory, we could just, like, take it at the face value of its myth world.
And also helps
building,
that it wasn't like a teenage guy. It was a giant buff old man.
We cured his dementia by possessing a teenage
Well, I do want to point that out. We talked so long about how, the whole age thing about, like, he'll be fixed and he'll be young and that will be when he's capable. I do appreciate that he still stayed old but became strong and capable.
Yeah. So where was it? Oh, yeah, with Carter.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, he didn't learn any new abilities in his fighting.
I think they should have saved the crook and flail until the 3rd book. As much as I love how he used that whole scene in the 2nd book, but if he got it finally in the 3rd book and then he was a badass with it, I think that would have felt more like we got to somewhere. He earned them.
Yeah, it just was more, and it's the Avatar, and it's moving very slowly, and it doesn't actually last that long, and he still has his ass beaten by that. It's just like, it was unfortunate to me. Yeah. I still feel like overall this is at best, this is a 50-50 book. I still feel like Sadie got a lot more, or at least still so much impactful stuff, like with her learning how to, like, use Mott as, like, the spell and all of that it's like she actually had a really impressive, powerful thing. And look, she was really bad at it in the beginning, and then she pulls it off really well in the end.
I mean, part of this is, like, I don't know, maybe this is just my, like, preferred class of character is, like, spellcaster and not fighter. But I feel like this happens in the Percy Jackson books too, where, like, when you get to Nico being like, surprise, I just demolished your soul, compared to Percy being like, I used a sword. Like, there's a point at which, like, the spellcaster's always gonna, or like the magic user.
I started reading Demigods and Magicians, and I'll tell you, you're gonna feel that hardcore.
I believe it.
Yeah. I just, like, again, the only counterpoint to that is that both Hazel and Frank get the shaft as well.
And they're the ones
who are the epitome of magic and brute force. So
but, like,
it really, to me, it really just depends on the character. Like, I really love Percy, and I think Carter could have had a lot more oomph.
Yeah.
And in that sense, he was.
Well,
he was
I even think that, because it's not like you can't come up with more combat related things that he can learn. He could, like, learn how to, like, transform his sword into a different kind of weapon, or he could learn to do, like, without going into the full avatar, he can just, like, use part of it, and, like, which he kind of does with the hand thing. But, like, they can make him, like, be able to jump really high with just showing the legs. Or, like,
frankly, pun intended, you could be more, Frank-like in that he knows how to, like,
use the Falcon.
Well, no, I mean, use his, like, strategizing powers. It's like, oh, if you have an idea of, like, fighting and strength and, like, he's the Eye of Horus. Like, there's warrior stuff there. And being a warrior isn't just about fighting and being strong. It is about tactic. And I don't know how much like tactically Carter had evolved.
Well, and that's the thing is I don't feel like they ever really showed that from Horus either. They made Horus more like Ares, and technically Ares should also be more tactical, and he isn't.
I still feel like Ares at least had more.
He did, but also Athena is the goddess. She's really about strategy. Fair, so they split.
Well, that's kind of how it came off in this too with Isis, though.
I know.
Yeah. So,
but I feel like this is where the gendered stuff gets a little interesting when you're drawing on gods from older. Yeah. So like, not to say that all older religions have those gendered like
roles. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like when you have the woman be the like, I use magic and strategize and
from far away.
Versus
indirectly.
But the one thing I'll say about like that idea and trope, I think can be so much worse than like Sadie actually is like significant. Like I know she's not physically punching people, but she has like the Hadi spell and she is incredibly powerful. It's not like she just has like telepathy or something. Like this was one of those things again where I was like, is this going to go into that? Is this going to fall into that trap? And I don't feel like it did. No.
Yeah.
All right.
So this was a lot of criticism, but I overall enjoyed this book.
All right. Shall we get into the not full recap, but outliney thing?
Yes, sir. So we start in Dallas, Texas. Our gang of magicians try to retrieve the final copy of the Book of Overcoming Apophis. Wow, so convenient. But Apophis overcomes them. He destroys the scroll and annihilates the 51st gnome. I really felt that, like, destruction.
Me too.
This opening was
the violin.
So good.
The whole thing with the Texas stuff I thought was great. And it's very, like we said, it's similar to the beginning of the second book, but it definitely hits home more, which is interesting because you get even less of the Texas magicians than you do of Jazz. Mm-hmm. But I just think that having that romance component really helps. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just seeing the level of decimation.
Yeah.
Also, Sadie's not an idiot.
Yeah. That's the end of it. That's what fixes it for me.
Yeah.
So Sadie summons Mott to protect the Brooklyn House crew.
Yeah.
They return home with King Tut's shadow box, and Carter devises a plan to perform a shadow execration on Apophis after talking to his pigeon pal, Horace.
I like this scene.
This totally discounts everything you just said.
Oh, yeah, because of the actual strategizing.
He comes up with the whole plan, and it works.
Yeah, he does. You're right. But this isn't like...
I'm just saying, I like that he came up with it and not Sadie.
Oh, yes. You're right. I did forget.
Sadie's
you're
thing.
right. You're right. I forgot about it because in the 11th hour, I feel like this Carter isn't he's not, again, continue to grow. But you're right. You're right. That this is his strategy. This is they're like working for a goal. This is after like a really big fight. And he's, directly also talking to Horace here about it.
And I think that also, I just think in general, they do a good job with his leadership aspect.
Yeah.
I feel like the weight that he feels the weight of everything.
Yeah. Him becoming Pharaoh totally makes sense after everything that he's gone through already, and especially in this book, because him being, again, the leader of like Brooklyn House when Amos is gone and feeling all of this, I really do like that. I just want more like power from him directly
in a fight scene.
And this is what it comes to. But you're absolutely right. This I was discounting his behind the scenes, like in between books strategizing. So Sadie makes Carter and the rest of Brooklyn House go to a school dance to blow off some steam, but things get steamy anyway.
Well, I mean, isn't there like more bullet points to that before we continue?
There is, but you look like you wanted to say something.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I was just watching it. God, I can't look at my girlfriend anymore.
Fiance, don't you forget it. All right. We get a little Camp Half-Blood crossover in the form of Lacey and Drew. Super fun.
Hooray.
So weird, but I loved it.
Yeah. I really liked it too.
Sadie is sad that Walt is too sick to come, but Anubis shows up and they have a deadly waltz. He even gives Sadie the idea of using a reverse shadow execration to bring back Bess. Their dance is cut short by Shu, the god of air, who's been tasked with keeping the lovebirds apart by dressing as a litter World War II pilot, which I
Good
mean,
stuff.
Yep.
that was a great
Works for me,
visual.
yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically saying the idea of like rebooting a computer is like immediately makes you go, okay, I get it. And like that worked well with the whole Ren stuff. As far as the dance, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. It does follow a lot of the same patterns as the last book, but I do like that they frame it very differently.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like, yes, Sadie is going to do something frivolous, but they frame it as she doesn't even actually want to do this once Walt is gone.
Yeah.
She's doing it for them. This is what she brings to
For
the
the rest of the kids in Brooklyn. I really like the world, the story building of they're like, the kids attend this school. And because it's like the kind of school it is, they can still study magic. It reminds me of, Camp Half-Blood without being a complete rehash. They're going to school. They're trying to live as normal teens during the school year, but then they have this other secret life. It really works.
And it's very interesting that they have that concept and it's like the background. Like for a lot of books, that would just be the whole story is how do you juggle high school and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they don't.
No, they don't. It's literally like free study. And they're like, cool, we're going to go study magic.
I actually, that's a really good point. Cause and that's obviously in the Percy Jackson books as well. And that really sets the stories apart, doesn't it? Right? Like that's one of the defining differences is it is not a like, I need to do my homework and save the world. Like they're juggling like being teens, but not.
The football game is the same time as the potion class.
Yeah. Like we love Sabrina.
Yeah. Sure.
We love for yourself.
We love Buffy.
Yes.
How about that one?
There we go.
But
you can only see it so many times. Not Buffy, but that idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I do appreciate the not hand waving, but legitimately explaining why this isn't a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really like this. And this is, again, why I enjoy this beginning was like, wow, Sadie has matured. She's grown. This is like.
Yeah.
Well, and also on top of all this, they start the book being like, well, I guess we might have to kill ourselves to save the world. Like you feel like they fully have learned the lessons of the past two books now. The fact that we start the book with being like, if we have to, we have to.
And it's tragic.
Yeah.
Even though I don't ever obviously they're narrating it from the future where they live, but like I feel that doubt of like, oh, they feel the weight of everything on their shoulders. They don't want to go through with that. Walt is literally dying over here and Sadie and Carter, man, it really sucks that this is what they'll have to potentially do, and that's not fair.
And we understand it fully because we saw Desjardins go through it and all that.
And it's not the whole Blood of Olympus thing where it's like, I wonder what the plan is. Do you think the plan is dangerous? Do you think what Leo's doing is going to be dangerous for Leo? Like, yes.
But also, we're taking 3 magical ingredients with us anyway. Let's not harp on Blood of Olympus again.
Hey, I'm enjoying this. I don't feel like you guys were this negative when we did the podcast.
About Blood of Olympus?
That's because I was only thinking about Nico and Reyna.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem where maybe with time, actually, like, Last Olympian has even more solidified in my brain in comparison as, like, so good that over time I'm having the negative feelings about Blood of Olympus,
it's
like
coming
escalating.
back, reminding you.
Let's remember this for the rankings, Olga.
I agree.
Let's think about it.
So Carter and Walt go to discuss shadows with Toph, while Sadie accompanies her buddy Leonid to the first gnome. I love him. He's adorable. Poor little Russian boy. Great continuation from...
Cut out of the graphic novel entirely.
Unfair.
No.
So unfair.
Yep.
Justice for the Russians.
Also, I meant to say earlier, so you know that they have like the statue of Apophis that they make. So in the book, it's like super secret and like nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
In the graphic novel, in like the middle of the library, they have like a
big Apophis statue.
And it's like in a glass thing. It says like break if in case of death or.
Oh my god.
No. I love the fact that the Apophis statue is secret, and they're like. So this is a super dangerous thing, and the only reason Walt's in on it is because we needed him, and he's dying. So who's he gonna tell? He can tell him.
Buddy Anubis.
Yeah. Leonid tells Amos about the rebels led by Sarah Jacobi planning to attack in conjunction with Apophis. The boys help Toth fight off some demons, and he tells them about Setna, the only magician who knows about shadow execrations. Unfortunately, he's dead, evil, and about to stand trial at the Hall of Judgment.
You guys didn't really say anything about Setna.
I mean, I agree with you. I do think he overshadows Apophis, no pun intended, in a lot of ways. But also, I appreciate the fact that they're like, we need the copy of the Book of Overcoming Apophis written by Setna. And who's going to appear later in the book?
Yeah.
Setna is like, I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that too. And Dan, I totally appreciate your point about him overshadowing Set, which I had a bigger problem with. Because I feel like at this point, I'm never really interested in the big bad. I'm only ever interested in the trickster bad who, speaking of which, everyone should watch Loki.
We have.
Fantastic.
Setne, like, fits that role that I enjoy of trickster. And I especially love when the trickster is all about sort of like, I'm a human and I outsmart gods. That's a really, really great trope. So
he's very enjoyable to watch. I want to be clear that I do really like him as a character and as a villain, and he's actually a really great part of the audiobook. I think they do a great voice job for him.
Uncle Vinny style.
His outfit.
I love the visuals of this, of like, oh, you're like really a slimy person.
Yeah.
But also, is this offensive to Italians, Dan? Opinion.
I love it. I hope we're all like him.
You are not allowed to get a gold chain. I draw the line there.
If it's onks.
Even then.
No, but that good stuff for him for sure. And overall, I think they did a good job of the balance of like, even though he's obviously tricking us and using us and this and that, we do need him. Like I understood why they kept working with him. It could have ended up like the thing in Red Pyramid where it's like, no, Amos doesn't have Set. Let's talk about this for 20 pages.
Yeah. And then, whoops. Also, I really like the Toth stuff. I really appreciate just the action sequence here, but also the fact that it explains like why more gods aren't going to be available to help them out, that they are also dealing with Apophis nonsense and the demons, and therefore they're just like tied up in their own realm. So
Return of Face of Horror.
Yes.
Just kind of fun.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yes. I stand an icon.
And I think it was a good use of Toth too. Like I feel like they did a better job with his character this time.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it, and even the fact that his like study has changed and been all in all great.
He learned guitar, great arc.
Gods always get the best art.
Sadie, now accompanied by a hot-headed Zia, visits Tawaret, who tells her where to find Bess's shadow. The pair then meets up with Walt and Carter at the Hall of Judgment. They persuade Osiris to let Setna go with them because he's bound and has vital information. Sadie and Walt go to look for Bess's Shut, while Zia and Carter go with Setna to find the Book of Toth.
Cool.
Good.
Yep.
Yes. Really great.
Oh, well, I like, what was his name? Like the Destroyer or something?
And then the whole plot about that is really good.
Yeah.
With the forgotten judges.
Yeah. I like that.
And then tying it together with what just happened.
And I felt bad for Osiris. He was trying.
I really enjoyed the like Sadie barging in and him being like, sorry, it's just my daughter. Like, take your kids to work day, am I right?
I love the part with the meat thing where she
Oh, it was so cute.
Yeah, it's like Amit's actually a girl, and she's like, Amit is a meat, and we're just good. It's my pet. Zia, Carter, and Setna take the Egyptian queen down the Nile, and Carter has a run-in with Set, who's been communing with Amos. Wonder what's gonna happen there.
Do we want to just talk about this?
Amos?
I was glad it happened.
Yeah,
I was too. There's nothing bad about it. That said, it felt underdeveloped.
I agree.
It could have been like a whole book.
I want a whole I want an entire book. It's Amos. It's Desjardins.
Yeah.
First of all, they're in love.
Obviously.
Second of all.
Then they become one person.
No, that's ridiculous, Dan. As a writer, I couldn't fathom doing that.
Yeah.
Only someone like Rick could.
Okay.
He's imaginative.
Like a 13-year-old girl.
Oh my God. But like, there's so much to explore. Like I want a whole like prequel that's like them but young and Julian like I would love that.
Them in the first gnome learning about magic, getting into trouble together.
I mean, it's just such an awesome, fascinating concept that he would host set after everything that happened, and I buy it. And he does cool stuff, and they make it work. But I'm just like, you could write another 20,000 pages about that, and I'd read it.
Yes.
I'm really into it, and I agree. I wish it kind of got more attention and more development, because I feel that was something that, while this was also a culmination, it didn't get enough screen time.
Yep. Yeah. In general, I think I really like whenever we see Set. Over the 3 books, he does not have enough.
Agreed.
Like, he has the one really good scene in Throne Fire. He has, like, 1.5 good scenes in this. And then, honestly, in Red Pyramid, he's, like, more of the actual villain. So he's, like, not even totally himself.
Yeah.
So.
A giant hippo attacks, and Setna convinces Carter to call upon Happy, the god of the Nile, to defeat it.
I love that it's literally just a giant hippo. Like, they don't call it anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Hippos are dangerous.
They are really dangerous.
I know, but like, we would even call it like the great hippo,
the great guardian
blah, blah,
of
blah.
the Nile.
Like,
no, just a big hippo.
It's a big dangerous hippo.
Okay.
This is why Egyptians didn't know how to swim.
Yep.
Hippos. I understand. I liked Happy.
Yeah.
That was a change of pace.
Happy pills, good stuff.
Yeah. So they arrive at the Serapeum of Apis to retrieve the Book of Thoth. The bull awakens and attacks them, but Zia goes all supernova and vanquishes the bull. They recover the book, but she passes out.
Man, the more you read through this, I guess it is very similar.
I was just thinking that too. I was just struggling in my memory to distinguish the 2 underground scenes.
And the one last time, and the other one was
actually.
better. Yeah. This one's fine. The other one was better.
I do think the other one was better.
Yeah.
It was a lot more impactful.
Yeah.
I was more concerned for them in the previous book, but overall,
it's because Sadie always gets the better version. Like this, when Sadie goes and deals with this neat thing, it's better than what Carter was doing in the last book.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, neat.
And so maybe this is where the point in the book where it starts to maybe it started to make the switch for me or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Sadie and Walt visit the goddess Neat, who tells them she will help them find Bessa's shadow if they can survive her hunt. They do so using their Shen amulets and befuddling tales of jelly babies, which are a candy, for those who don't know.
Not a very good one.
You've tried it?
Yeah.
Have you tried the drink that she loves?
No, I have not.
Yeah, Ribena. It's like a black currant drink, which is...
I probably wouldn't
That sounds nice.
No, you like the black currant gummies that I got you from the Russian store.
Okay, yeah.
Black currant is illegal in a lot of ways in the United States. We can't grow it here. At least we couldn't for many decades.
Why?
I think because it was considered an invasive species or at least a risk or something. But maybe my family had friends of friends who grew it illegally. I don't know. Who's to say?
Menshikov.
Yeah, we're tight with Menshikovs.
And I'm tight with Uncle Vinny.
I have no one. It's all right.
Okay. I think this whole neat sequence is very fun. It's another one that they could have gone on for another 30 pages or something. Maybe not 30.
But I'm glad they didn't, because it was perfect.
It was a great, I love the visuals of the ruins changing around them as it's a place at a time.
They have an actually smart plan.
Yeah.
She's a very funny character.
Yeah.
Very classic
She's
Riordan.
funny, but also again, she's very skilled, but you have her leaf bunny ear headband. It's I love this.
Yeah. She apparently is a much bigger part of Egyptian mythology than you would probably tell from this. She's very important, but I really enjoyed her.
I mean, in a lot of ways that makes sense. I could extrapolate that from them linking her to Bess and to Waret and that kind of thing.
Well, she's married to the moon guy, the gambler, which is very weird.
Oh, that's too bad that you didn't include that.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed a little bit, touching on him again.
And she's someone's mother. Oh, he's Bast's mother, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that for cats.
Hunter.
I think she's the mother of Bast and Sekhmet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting stuff.
We're learning a lot in this recap.
The meta narrative of the book.
And blackcurrant.
So Walt uses the rest of his energy to revive Bessa's Shut, and Sadie restores Bessa's Wren. Walt survives by becoming the host of Anubis, much to Sadie's horror. He then sends her to save Carter. We're good? We're tapped out on this?
I just want to say that I do enjoy it now.
Okay.
Good.
We all got there, sort of. So back on the boat, Setna tricks them by giving orders to Bloodstained Blade. First to take them to the land of the demons, where the shadow of Apophis lies, and then to kill Carter. Carter, you dumb boy. But he was distracted by love and Zia maybe dying.
Yeah, love ruins all.
Mm-hmm. Carter and Zia defeat Bloodstained Blade, tie up Setna, and have a sexy picnic. I don't agree about the second. I did not write this.
It's
just a nice moment.
There's salve. There's healing. It's nursing the person.
Maybe in the graphic novel, it's more sexy.
Yeah, it's like two dorks on a beach.
Two dorks on a beach.
That's the sitcom I'm pitching to NBC. They don't have anything else on their lineup, So Setna convinces the pair that they still need him to find the shadow. He puts a glamour on them so they can hide his demons. Purple gorilla, I believe. Mm-hmm. They find the Shut, and Setna binds them with the glamours. Sadie saves them and ties up Setna.
As she does.
Yeah, of course.
And this is exactly like what happens in the last book.
Yeah.
A god makes a portal, she goes through it and saves them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But without, because again, I was like, oh no, what are they going to do to get out of this? Oh, the same thing that they always do. Sadie saves someone. Not that I'm complaining. I like it when Sadie saves people. Yeah. So she binds Apophis' statue to shadow to the statue. Mm-hmm. Yes, they do it. It's great. It's done. It turns all black and inky. Really awesome sequence.
Yeah. I feel like I would have enjoyed The Land of Demons more if I hadn't read Tartarus.
I was thinking that as I was reading it.
Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't Tartarus.
I mean, I didn't feel like they were like, we're being sucked towards it. Everything's being pulled over there. And I was like, oh, yeah? Well, Tartarus is literally killing a Percy and Annabeth, and you guys are just dealing with some bad wind in a desert. Like, the air isn't toxic, though.
Some bad wind.
So
actually, the air is toxic. They just have the scarab.
Yeah, they do. All right, fair enough.
Percy and Annabeth should have thought of that.
Yeah, why didn't they have a scarab?
Why didn't they have a buff old man?
Didn't they?
Why didn't they?
No, Bob was their buff old man.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Bob was totally their buff old man.
Annabeth and Bob didn't become one person.
I love this.
I'm grateful for that not taking place. So they're surrounded by demons, but Bess, Tawara, and the residents of Sunny Acres come to their rescue. Unfortunately, amidst all the hubbub, Setna escapes. I love the Sunny Acres folks coming in, and they're still like, old, but they're doing their best and using their abilities.
Very cute.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's sweet.
Good
also,
stuff.
Yay, Bess and Tawara.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. All right. Also convenient, but whatever. Anyway,
but good.
Good. Good. Riordan, good. Like the good Riordan.
Pat.
Yes. Who's a good Riordan? You are.
Okay.
Listen, Dan, we're happy about Bess and Tawara.
Okay. I mean, I am too.
Positive reinforcement.
Okay.
We should rank the couples at some point.
Ooh, I'm in. Next week.
Yeah, can we do that next week?
Yeah, sure.
Because that'll be like a crossbow series, all of them. Yeah. I'm down. Oh, who's going to be on the bottom? Zeus and everyone.
Nico's going to be on the bottom.
Oh my God, man.
Daniel.
Let's be real. That's not the case.
I don't know.
Oh.
I think that's debatable.
We're not going to debate it, though. I'm good.
Moving on.
Anyway, back to relevance. So in the first gnome, Bess, Carter, Zia, and Sadie travel to Giza on Ra's sunboat. Ra is reborn within Zia and is his new host. Is his new host. Okay.
Zia is his host.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buff old man Zia tells Carter to take his place as pharaoh and unite the House of Life. The siblings fight their way past rebel magicians into the Hall of Ages. There, they find Sarah Jacobi, Kwai, and the other rebel magicians fighting Amos, who now hosts Set.
Very great imagery here in the graphic novel.
I mean, even without that, I could visualize everything that was taking place. Mm-hmm. So Jacobi's gang is gaining the upper hand. Luckily, Walt/Anubis arrives and decimates her Nico style.
Nico style, but not with the same amount of style.
Yeah.
No, not with the same.
But I do like his various abilities and stuff too.
Yeah.
That he also like wraps people and went in and things like that.
I like when Walt messed up. I actually, because I don't think that was in the recap.
Yeah, when he makes the boat dust.
Yeah. I like that. Again, like the foreshadowing definitely building up there.
Yeah. So I agree with you that him defeating Sarah Jacobi like that, nowhere near like the emotional intensity or cool factor as Nico.
Yeah.
But overall, him like being able to just like tuck things and like decay them.
Yeah, it's
that's
good.
Pretty awesome.
Death powers are great.
Yeah, I agree.
They're the best part of both of these books.
Yeah.
Water powers.
Ooh, can we rank
magic.
powers?
Oh,
yeah.
Why not? Let's rank everything. That's the name of the podcast.
Rank.
The one thing I'll say about this scene where they defeat Kwai and Sarah Jacobi is they like really underpower Sadie and Carter and Set just so that
Walt and
can do his
Anubis,
thing, which is kind of a bummer.
I do agree with you there.
Yeah,
yes.
It's it's that Reina Nico thing of like, and now Walt/Anubis is the person.
Yeah.
It's the person with the death powers is the one you should all care about.
Yeah. No, I really overall enjoy it, but I agree with you that like the others should have been even more empowered by Apophis so that our folks could have like still been at their maximum and then just had that extra nudge. Yeah. All right, so Kwai self-destructs and Sadie summons Mott once more to save everyone, but this time she only passes out for like 30 seconds as opposed to almost dying. Awesome. Really great. I love her.
Yep.
It's time for the final battle.
Ooh.
Carter orders the
I'm not in that. You can have your moment.
I was not looking at him for the record. I was looking at the outline, and Dan is in his own world moaning and
That's one way of putting it.
Should I say this again or we keep
We're
it?
in the final battle.
All right, we're in the final battle. Carter orders the other gods to help, and they obey after seeing Carter slice Circuit in half. That was cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Apophis splits everyone into different layers of the duat, making everyone fight a different version of him. He swallows Ra, but Sadie and Carter execrate his shadow nonetheless. Fortunately, he regurgitates Ra and then explodes. Ra explains that Chaos and Mott are in balance, and if Apophis is banished, the gods are banished as well. Ra and the rest of the gods retreat from the world.
All right. So, I mean, we already talked about the lackluster side of this. The good part I really do like is Apophis and him like shattering the reality and going in and out and fighting multiple people. Like that actually was cool.
Yeah. This is one of those scenes that I was imagining the animated series and like how cool it's going to be. It'll be so good.
If it was an animated series,
Isn't it?
It's live action.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That probably would be better in animation.
I thought it was going to be an animated series.
No.
Why is it not going to be an...
We question that all the time. And also all the comments on like the YouTube videos that we do are like, this should be animated. And we're like, we're not arguing with that. Like, we agree.
Why did I think it was?
Because it makes more sense for it to be.
It's not like next week I'm still going to think that it's an animated series. It's not sticking in my head.
You
have like future
also,
vision.
Also, the Kane Chronicles are movies.
Okay.
You definitely knew this at one point in your life.
No, it's an animated series.
At least this makes more sense as movies. It's a trilogy.
I agree. Animated movies.
Yeah. I mean, I still agree with that. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I understand why they're this totally side thing, but whatever. I understand why they're not doing Percy as animated because like, if they hit Percy right, it can be a huge deal for, like, years to come. Kane Chronicles is 3 books. Just do it animated.
Also, it would just be awesome animated. Like, what are they going to do with the animal heads?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? It's not going to look good. There's no way they can make that look good in a way that it ages well.
How are they going to do the, like, corkscrew heads and things like that? I hope they just kind of cut that out, to be honest.
And just make them like weird demons.
Did you guys see the Chronicles of Narnia, like live action movies that were from like the 80s?
One. No, the old
ones. And they have like the weird like.
Well, that was a while ago that I saw those.
Okay. That's sort of almost what I would want.
I feel like you watched that at my house.
That's possible.
With my sister.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a huge tear. That was just for you guys.
Yeah. Well, it's making it in the podcast, but yeah. I mean, they could do some amount of like CGI practical. Like I'm thinking of like Guillermo del Toro's stuff where he like the prosthetics in that regard are like
but like
pretty
will
good.
they?
Yeah. You just have to have the right people involved in the right budget. And in some ways, it being movies and not TV helps with that. But moving on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
It's going to be really weird. Okay.
But guys, Guillermo del Toro's Kane Chronicles.
Wouldn't be against it, certainly.
I think that would be a choice that I would enjoy.
Dear Netflix. It is Netflix, right?
Yes.
Do I have it all wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Percy is on Disney Plus.
I know. Yeah.
Still unconfirmed, even though they have a writer's room.
Also, apparently, Rick is in like pretty intense talks about making Daughter of the Deep, his new book, into a movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
If he's already thinking about that.
Anyway, Rick gossip aside.
It's about ranking him.
Yeah. We'll be ranking all his projects. Carter becomes Pharaoh and has a cute date with Zia in the Mall of America, the ultimate mall, and all the people are jealous that he scored such a hot chick.
OMG.
Everyone claps. I
like that they went to like a crazy mall.
I do appreciate like they're like, I promised you a mall date. We're going to the ultimate mall. Yeah. Cute. And none of them know how to be around people because they're both like weird homeschooled kids.
Nerds on a beach.
Dorks on a beach. Dorks on a beach.
I'm sorry, Dorks on a beach.
Dorks on a Beach's sequel, Dorks in a Mall.
I would watch this.
I'm telling you, Netflix, option it, NBC. The Sibs visit their mom and dad and see the Texas magicians playing ghostly music.
That wasn't in the graphic novel, so that hit me.
That was really, it was a really strong moment. And also when Carter is getting ready to see his parents and he's so worried because he thinks his dad is going to be mad at him about Setne. I highlighted that and was just like, that really hit for me.
Yeah. And I like that Sadie gets a little moment with her mom for
Yeah.
the first time, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it was poignant all around. I really like that. So Bess and Tawara are going to have hippo babies. And he's going to be a stay-at-home dad because she's a career woman. She's not giving up on her job. Unfortunately, Bast must leave them. She has to disappear with everyone. And I also appreciate the Bast and Bess like moment, like wrapping that up.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Sadie.
Bast ended up working out pretty good.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah. She was fine. Yeah. Nowhere near as good as she was in the first book, although also her weird, like, reappearing, disappearing act was still...
I just mean, like, overall, like, even though she's definitely used the most in the first book, I just feel like I walk away from the series being like, yeah, I like Bast.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah. So Sadie and Wanubis have a roof dance. And
That's so weird.
Wanubis.
It's like Waluigi, so Wario, Wanubis.
I'm still. It's just as weird. I just feel positively about it now instead of negatively.
A new bolt?
Yeah.
I might like that more.
I like Wanubis.
Wanubis is like funnier. Wanubis. All right, so the crossover stories are set up. They're gonna face Setna. And maybe my opinion about Wanubis will solidify or change.
I don't know if they'll show up, actually. I haven't finished. But,
what?
Yeah.
That's it.
So we never see them again?
I don't think so.
What?
I'm not positive, but I don't think you ever see them again.
Rick!
This is weird, but...
Rick!
Well, they I guess I'll prepare you guys a little bit. The crossover is like very small scale. Like we only ever see Carter, Annabeth, Percy, and Sadie.
Okay.
Like, you don't see the other heroes of Olympus. You don't see Camp Half-Blood. Like, none of that.
I guess I'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Clara is dumbfounded.
But they said...
Wanubis. What about Nico and Wanubis?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
That would be such a fun little interaction.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't finished the third one, but I read the first two, so yeah.
If anything, it makes the most sense in the first one, so
yeah.
Any who's it.
We're all done with the
We're
recap,
done with the recap. Yes.
All right, guys. So because of the length of this podcast, we are going to not do the most of the rankings right now. We're going to move all those rankings over to the big Rankaroonie time in the next podcast. But we are going to rank the book.
Okay. Currently, from lowest to highest, it's The Sea of Monsters, The Lightning Thief, Titan's Curse, The Red Pyramid, The Battle of the Labyrinth, Lost Hero, Blood of Olympus, Son of Neptune, Throne of Fire, Last Olympian, Mark of Athena, and House of Hades.
Okay. I personally would put it right under Throne of Fire.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
So
Yeah.
vote has it.
Yeah.
All good
I'm not
reasons.
gonna. What?
Where would you have put it?
I mean, I still really like Son of Neptune, and
Yeah.
Blood of Olympus deserves to be lower. But I
Yes.
guess these are like different
Technically, it is
conversations.
pushing. Blood of
Yeah, I
Olympus
know,
lower.
but my whole point is I don't know if I.
All right,
I
well,
agree
why don't
about
let's talk about
pushing
Blood of
down
Olympus.
Blood of Olympus.
Yeah, Blood of Olympus. Editor's note: Clara is laughing, and so is Olga.
Sorry.
So after we finished recording the podcast, we realized, hey, we talked about Percy Jackson stuff for like an extra 25 minutes after Serpent's Shadow, and we just argued a lot about the rankings. And at a certain point, I don't think we needed to keep it in the recording. So we did Serpent's Shadow. Now I'm going to jump ahead to Olga reading the final list, which we already recorded. And we'll have probably the same arguments about Percy again. We moved some stuff around and nobody's happy. And maybe I'll have to throw in that part where nobody's happy. Anyway, here we go. I think we could stop where we are. I think right now is the closest to us like agreeing, even though none of us are actually happy.
None of us are happy. Welcome to Ranking Rick Riordan.
None of us are happy. This is what compromise is.
Can you make a new song about that? None of us are happy. This is what compromise is.
We
I'll
just
work on
ranked. Ranked. We're really sad. Sad.
Yes. All right. Read the list for the people.
For the people, Sea of Monsters, Red Pyramid, Lightning Thief, Titan's Curse, Blood of Olympus, Lost Hero, Battle of the Labyrinth, Son of Neptune, The Serpent Shadow, The Throne of Fire, The Last Olympian, Mark of Athena, The House of Hades.
I love that we didn't actually debate at all about this book. We spent like 25 minutes on our previous rankings.
It's because I'm starting to think about like the whole like
the big picture.
It's really like thinking about Blood of Olympus, Last Olympian, and Serpent's Shadow together helps put it in perspective.
Yeah.
It's these middle books and the first books, because the first books have to do so much, and they're both at the bottom, which feels hard.
Yeah,
but
Lost Hero isn't that low. It's at 8. That's pretty low. All right. Moving on to the end of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. And what do I say at the end of the podcast?
May the gods be ever in your favor.
In your favor. Bye, guys.